So hi friends, today we'll have a discussion on an important current issue, that is rolling out 5G services in India. So recently the Union Cabinet has given a nod for auctioning of the spectrum related to 5G services, and already technological demonstrations happened and different telecommunication service operators have tested their technology. Last year 5G, Reliance Jio has tested last year, and Airtel is done last year, and again this year also they have done. But in this topic, what is this 5G services and how it is different from the other previous generation services, and what are the technical differentiation that you can made with 5G and 4G or other remaining Gs, and what are the applications and advantages of these 5G services, and also the technical and economic challenges related to this, and as well as what are the benefits or what are the provisions that the government has made while announcing this auction process of spectrum related to 5G. So these are the aspects that I am going to cover in this video. First one, existing technologies. Second one is technical differentiation. Technical differentiation, that means technologically how 4G is different to that of how 5G is different to that of 4G, 3G, and the applications or advantages. Applications or advantages. Fourth one is the benefits that government is providing under this action. Technological challenges in launching this 5G. Economic challenges in launching these 5G services. Okay, so these are the things that I am going to cover in this video. So this 5G technology or the 5th generation technology in telecommunication will certainly help, because we are already late. Some of the countries in the world, they have already launched the 5G services, and prior to these 5G services we are having 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and in between you have 2.5, 2.9, 3.5, like these different generation technologies are there. So just I'll made a mention, and so that I'll explain 3G, 4G and 5G. This we are launching in 2022, it is around 2010, it is around 2000, it is in 1990s, it is in 1980s. See, when we have started this 1G, it was only about this voice, that means we can only able to call, that we can only able to speak. But in the second generation, that voice plus message, voice plus message, that we have brought in the 2G time. In 3G time, voice plus message plus this video facility is also, video call facility also came. And in the 4G, the same benefits but higher speed of internet. I will come to the 5G little bit late, what exactly the difference between these Gs and this 5G. If you observe, the applications are increased from generation to generation. Along with the application, the rate at which your application is working has made a progressive quality. That means have brought a progressive quality. That means the quality in services increased. So increase in number of services and also increase in quality of service. So how come this increase in services and increase in quality of the service happened? This increase in quality of service happened because of this is a signal, and everything is a signal. This signal has its own limitations. This signal here in the 1G has its own limitation. The same signals we are started transmitting at a higher rate and huge amount of signal at a particular point of time. That means the signal which transmit in this first generation is only one signal at a less, the rate at which it transmits is low. But when it comes to the 2G, the different type of signals can transmit at a time at a higher speed. Now in the 3G, in the 4G, in the 5G. So the differentiation in the technology is with respect to the bandwidth. Technically, I can say the word bandwidth. Bandwidth shows like how much amount of signal and at what rate the signal transmit. So that means a n number of, earlier in the initial technology only few calls can be attended at a time, few calls can transmit at a time. If remaining people tries to do, then you may get a busy tone. But as the technology improves, as we move from generation to generation, it is the total measured width of the radio frequency of the band and as well as the rate at which you are transmitting. So both increases. So that is what the bandwidth has started increasing from generation to generation. Because of that, more number of users can able to connect to this network and the data transmission happened at faster rate. Because of that, we are able to do voice calls, we are able to do a messaging, we are able to have a video calls, and that too at a faster rate. That means without losing clarity we are able to do, and even we can download, we can upload the videos. So this is possible because of increasing bandwidth from generation to generation. Now you might have heard like, okay, if 5G comes, because you might have some preliminary idea, if 5G comes, movies can be downloaded at a faster rate, you can upload easily, there is a lot of clarity in videos and all. Yes, that happened because in the 5th generation also the bandwidth is going to increase. When bandwidth increases, automatically the data transmission rate increases. When data transmission rate increases, the movie download or upload period it comes down. But is it only for that movie uploads and downloads and doing a video call? No, it is having a purpose beyond that downloads and uploads. I will come to that, what exactly the purpose of 5G. So but this is the thing, this is the evolution that you must understand from 1st generation to 5th generation, and the difference is that bandwidth. Now I will come to another aspect in this. If any new generation technology that you start, there are 3 aspects that you must keep it in mind. Those 3 aspects is with respect to devices, with respect to communication, infrastructure, third one is spectrum. So these are the 3 important aspects to any technology, any telecommunication technology. See, your device, if you looking into the 2G, the devices were not fitted with these cameras and all these receiving sensors, and they have a different setup because they are only meant for texting the message and also only for doing the voice calls. So that means the devices are something different. When 3G came, devices have changed. When 4G came, devices again changed. So the devices which are suitable to the changing technology is an important aspect. So you must produce the devices which suits the configuration of the new technology. So these devices are very important, and if you don't have the devices, there is no use in launching the technology. So devices must be there. Next one. Once you have the devices, the communication infrastructure. Communication infrastructure in the sense, earlier you have the landline mobiles. Further, there is a telephone connection that comes to your house and it will go underground to whatever the station, and from that station it transmits. The telephone exchange we call it as, because in the initial days the person who sits in the exchange used to exchange the calls. That means suppose if 10 people are doing the call, and if they are if their call wanted to connect it to Delhi, then this person manually switched to the Delhi. So that is the exchange station we call. But anyhow, the technology has changed and now we went for automatic exchange system. And even when this cell phone system came and the automatic switch happens among the different cells also. Cell in the sense like this is a one area, this one area, you call it as one cell. This is an another area, another cell. This is an another area, another cell. This is an another. Likewise, the entire India is divided into different cells. So once it moves from this to this, the switching automatically happen from one cell to another cell. That is why we call it as a cell. Okay, mobile cell. That is why we call. But anyhow, that is not important for us now. That is one type of communication infrastructure, and telephone exchanges are another type of the communication infrastructure system. But now when you are launching a new technology, definitely you need a new infrastructure facility. Otherwise, with old infrastructure, you can't transmit the data because the data transmission rate and the quantity of data which you are transmitting is high in this new technology. So definitely the communication infrastructure is important. And third one is, anyhow, above all these things, technology demonstration, anyway it is there. Technology demonstration. So technology demonstration means, okay, now you are generating a signal which is having high bandwidth, high frequency, and that you try to transmit in a prototype model, or that means you can do it in a simulation way. So that technological demonstration done by individuals. But anyhow, once the technological demonstration is completed, you need to have a communication infrastructure, you need to have a devices, and apart from this spectrum. This is a very important aspect, spectrum, because without spectrum you can't launch the technology. What is the purpose of this spectrum? Spectrum will act as a medium to transmit these waves. See, today I am speaking here, and it must be broadcasted across the world. So whatever I am speaking, whatever the signals that I am generating, these signals without any delay must reach across the world. How it come possible? It will possible only if some medium is there to take away my signals, whatever I am speaking. And whatever you call 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, that is a technology which convert my voice signals into a transportable mode, which lead to faster transmission and which lead to no distortion, and that is where the technology comes in. So the technology is converting the signal whatever I am speaking, and it will taking to the different parts of the world, and to take to the different parts of the world, you need a medium, and to convert this signal into that type of signal, you need a technology. So in 1G I am the one who is speaking, in the 2G I am the one who is speaking, in the 3G I am the one who is speaking, even in 5G I am the one who is speaking. But the conversion that happens is changing, that means that technology is changing, that is 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, but the mode of transmission again it is same. Even in 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G also, the mode of transmission is this electromagnetic waves. But in 1G, my signal is having low frequency. In 2G, my signal is having little bit high frequency. In 3G, my signal is having another little bit more frequency. In 4G, higher. In 5G, it is much higher. So that means the technology, the frequency that is used by the different technology is changing. Now, I need a different electromagnetic spectrum to communicate these signals, because in the electromagnetic spectrum, you will have from red to V, and here normally we are having this radio waves. In this radio waves, low frequency, high frequency, medium frequency, those bands are there. That means that whatever the frequency that I am generating, because in order to communicate the signal, I must speak. And this whatever the signal that I have generated, it must be converted into a transmittable form. When I am converting into this transmittable form, I have done with various frequencies. Initially, I have done with 1G. At that point of time, I need only the carrier signal which can carry a low frequency signal. But when I am increasing my frequency, I need a different spectrum which can carry a signal of more frequency. When I am increasing to another stage, I need a much more, another spectrum, another set of spectrum which can carry that high frequency signal. So that is the reason why existing spectrums are not suitable to the new generation technology, because the new generation technology is going to create a signals of high frequency. For that you need only high frequency spectrum, high frequency electromagnetic waves, because these signals can only transmitted through that waves. You can't transmit the 5G waves in this whatever the low frequency or medium frequency, because there is no use if you do that. It is something undermining your own technological efficiency. When you generate a high signal, when you transmitting in a spectrum which carry only low frequencies, there is no use. That is why when you generate a high frequency, for that you need a transmission system which can carry these high frequency signals. So that electromagnetic spectrum, you consider it as spectrum. That is spectrum, and this spectrum is a natural resource. So obviously when it is a natural resource, government is having a control over that. Now in order to launch that technology, you need to purchase this spectrum, and this spectrum will be auctioned by the government, and those who want to transmit this signals, they must purchase it from the government. Normally it is the telecommunication operators, they are involved in this entire communication thing. That is why they will go for a bidding, because you are downloading in mobile, you are doing a call through the mobile, and some devices like laptop, computer is connected to the telecommunication network. So that is the reason why telecom operators are involved in this spectrum. So this is something about the spectrum and the differentiation from 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. Again I will come to a little bit technical specifications or the differentiation of technical specification of 4G and 5G. But anyhow, this is something about this 5G technology and even spectrum. Now I will come to this technological differentiation between 4G and 5G. How 4G and 5G are different, because you may get a question in GS3, because GS3 questions are sometimes little bit technical, though they will ask about applications and general aspects of the technology, but still sometimes they are focusing on the technical aspects. Now in this I already mentioned about bandwidth, and here the bandwidth is low, here the bandwidth is high. Here bandwidth is low and bandwidth is high. Here the bandwidth is up to 6 gigahertz, but in 5G the bandwidth is something like 28 to 39 gigahertz. That means they can carry huge amount of data, and that too, that huge amount of data transmission will happen at a faster rate. These are all digitized signals, that too they are in the form of packets. We call it as data packets, and that huge data packets transmit at a higher rate with a higher speed. Okay, so this is one aspect, bandwidth is changing. Second one is with respect to latency. This is about bandwidth. Second one is latency. So latency is changed from 4G to 5G. So what is this latency? Latency is, it is an expression, how much time will it take for a data packet to transmit from one designated point to the another designated point. That means it is a time taken to reach from one particular place to another particular place. You call it as latency. So it is an expression of how much time it takes for a data packet to travel from one designated point to the another point. And if you see the latency, it is 60 to 98 millisecond, but whereas when it comes to 5G, it is 5 millisecond. You can bring it up to 1 millisecond also. That means the rate at which the data packet move is high here. Very less amount of time it is taking. There is no delays. There are no delays. Okay. So the data transmits at faster rate. That is latency. The third important technical specification is with respect to cell density. Cell density. So cell density means in a particular square kilometer area, if there is a one tower, this tower can deal with how many connections? How many connections? Don't think like, if I have a billions of connection in 1 square kilometer, one single tower cannot handle. A single tower can handle only a certain number of connections, because this has that connection has to be switched from one to another, like there is a limit. So in a particular second, this technology can switch these many times, and this can switch from one connection to another, one connection to another. So that means there is a limitation of that switching. But when it comes to this 5G, that cell density here it is low, but here it is high. That means more number of connections are possible in a limited area or under particular a tower. That means more connections. So now you must understand, more connections, higher data at a faster rate. So these are the advantages of 5G. Next, another important of technical specification is this base station. So base station means how you will transmit this signal. In 4G, normally we are having these cell towers. That means with the existing cell towers only you can transmit the data. But when it comes to the 5G, along with the cell towers, you need small cell technology. So small cell technology means the small cell stations like a size of a box will be placed frequently in this 5G area, so that the data transmission happen at a faster rate, and ultimately they are connected to the tower. So this base station technology is also differentiating. And another one more technological differentiation is with respect to this OFDM encoding. OFDM encoding means the OFDM stands for orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. The purpose I'll tell you, you no need to know the technical aspects of that OFDM, but it is used to split the different wireless signals into different channels to avoid the interference. When lot of signals are coming at a time, they must not undergo interference, and for that we are using this OFDM technology. Obviously under 5G, data is more, connections are more, and the transmission rate is more. So obviously this OFDM will split the data, will split the incoming signals into the more number of channels, so that it reduces the interference. So whatever the interference capacity here we are having, the probability of getting interference is very low in 5G compared to that of 4G. So here less channels, here more channels. That you just have an idea. Less channels, more channels. So interference and the base station technology, cell density, latency, and the bandwidth. So these are the technically how 5G is different to that of 4G. Okay. Now I'll come to the next aspect. of the discussion. See, now you understood that this 5G technology is going to carry more signals with a high bandwidth, with a low latency, and it transmits the data at a faster rate. Now I will come to the applications. See, this high data transmission is necessary in this age of industrialization, because it's not that you must get a very high resolution video or high resolution any program that you are watching, or you need to upload it at a faster rate, or you need to download it at a faster rate. It's not about that. The high data transmission is very, very important in present day technology, because our entire industrialization, our entire developmental trajectory is completely changing. And how it is changing? Here you are not doing the work, but someone on behalf of you is doing the work. And who is that person? either it is a machine or it is a robo. Robo is also a machine. So not you are doing, but a machine on behalf of you is doing a work. You may ask a question, sir, now also machines are doing some work. No, here machines are going to do the work based on the instructions that are given by you, or based on the artificial intelligence that it has already developed on its own. Because some machines required inputs from you, but some machines, no, they have already programmed everything and they have a lot of data inside them, and based on the analysis of the data, they will take the decision. I'll give an example, you don't worry. Now, when a machines want to work based on an instruction given by a person or based on its own intelligence, you need a high rate of data transmission. If there is no high data of transmission, these things cannot work, because these things are dealing with lot of data and they will analyze some gigabytes of data in a very span of in a very short period of time to take a decision or to perform a duty. So that is why that higher rate of data transmission is required, and for that we are launching 5G. And 5G is having a potential to bring all these machines and artificial intelligence or Internet of Things into the reality. That is why we are launching the 5G technology. Now I will give some of the applications so that you can understand. First of all, I will give a very simple example. Later we will enter into the different aspects of this 5G. See, there is a driverless car. Driverless car. So driverless car means now you are driving a vehicle. Now you are not going to drive the vehicle, and it is the car itself drives. How come car itself drives? Okay, will you instruct? Okay, if you instruct, then it's better you to drive instead of instructing a machine, because you can't instruct every second. But how the car will drives on its own? Because of its own artificial intelligence. That means you loaded lot of data in the car's that software. Now the car starts from here and it has to reach to a particular place, and based on the GPS location, it will start and it will stop, and it will also observe is there any red signal or green signal, and it also verify whether anyone is wrongfully crossing the road, or is there any other the traffic congestion and all, who is there in front of you and who is there on behalf of you. So that means these are the things will be taken by this car. For that you need sensors. So the sensors always sense what is happening in and around you. So these sensors will sense, and on the other hand it will connect with the GPS, and it will looks into its own the gear system and all. Because when you stop again, when you are starting, then definitely you need to go for a first gear. That means that entire program is written in this, and apart from that, this system is feeding with the regular data like traffic signals and the congestion on the road and the vehicle in front of you, like that, and it must also connect with the GPS system. That means a single machine at a time, when they are dealing with these many aspects, there must be high rate of data transfer. If there is a delay in transmitting the data from either here or some other thing, then it may not work properly. It may lead to accident. So for that reason, you need a 5G technology to start these driverless cars. So you don't need a driver to that. The car automatically drives on its own. So this is one of the application of this 5G technology. In order to understand, I have given this example. The same case with in a manufacturing industry. Now we are purchasing the spare parts from different locations or different industries. Now sometimes machines are doing, but human being is controlling that machine. But now there is no human being. You program the machine, and based on that it will pick the different things and it will assemble on its own. So that means, and for that reason you need high data transmission. If there is a disturbance in the signal, then production halts, or it leads to a production which is having lot of the faults in it. Okay, so these are some of the examples for this 5G. Anyhow, now I'll give the applications. I am just giving a general applications sector wise, because lot of applications are there. It's all depending on how you can use this technology. Okay. First one, in the industrial production process, it is industrial production, and especially in automobile sector. In other sector also you can use it, because now the machine starts producing. It is robo, you can call it as, or you can call it as a machine. So industrial process, sometimes some dangerous activities happen in industry. Sometimes gas leaks or chemical leaks, and it is creating lot of problems to the workers who are working. Now if you replace that with the machines, then definitely machines will take care about that. And machines need to feed lot of data, and machines must be given instructions every time. So the automation of the production process in industries, especially in automobiles. Agriculture also, it is very, very important, because okay, for small farmers who are having less than 1 acre of land, it may not be so beneficial, but for big farmers, or if you bring all the fields together, then definitely you can use this technology. In the precision farming, this technology is helpful a lot. Precision farming in the sense, now when you are going for a sowing of seeds, you will, lot of wastage happen in that seeds, because once you sow the seeds, you will sow not in a I can say, when you are sowing a seed, you don't maintain a exact distance between the seeds. But if you go for a precision farming, yes, everything is fixed in the GPS, and every seed will be sown at a particular place. And exactly when you are going for this irrigation, that whatever the drip system you have, it will have only opening at that particular place. And even when you are applying the fertilizers, pesticides, there is no much wastage. And there is an increase in efficiency, increase in production that happens in this precision farming. And it's not only about the farming techniques, and it is also related to the data related to the agriculture. Either it can be about weather, either it can be about marketing, either it can be about the practice system what you are doing, or getting suggestions, or getting solutions directly, or you can sit somewhere and you can instruct the machines to do the farming, and those machines can also do the farming. And sometimes even you no need to instruct. If you include artificial intelligence, it automatically sense what is the moisture level in the soil, and based on that it will switch on the pumps and switch off the pumps. So that means, and based on sensing the leaf or the fruit or whatever the seed, and it can apply the fertilizers and pesticides. That means there is no much chance for an error in farming practices, and more precise in nature, more data, and even from a longer distance you can instruct how we can instruct a machine to do the farming. So these are the different applications that you have, because if you go on utilizing the technology, to what extent, to that extent the farming can be done. Okay, this technology will help us to take to that extent. Okay, next. Now in healthcare, now already in healthcare we are using this telemedicine. Telemedicine means, okay, doctor is somewhere and you are somewhere, and you both are connecting through a video conference, and you are showing and you are explaining what is your problem, and this doctor is instructing you to go for a particular test, and you are going and you are bringing that reports again, you are showing it to the doctor, and doctor is prescribing something, and so that you will get that prescription and you will get the medicine. But can a doctor do surgeries in this telemedicine? No, it's only audio and video. It's only an audio and video conversation, because that is the only capacity of 4G. But now suppose if there is a robot placed in a remote village, And if you have other related medical equipments, now if the doctor is instructing from a remote location and based on that signals, the robot can do that practice. Robot can do that operation or surgery or whatever the test that it can do. Suppose there is an X-ray machine and this doctor wanted to take an X-ray of a particular patient and some programming is already there. If you give a minimum instructions, it can do that and directly it sends the report to the doctor. So that means these are all require huge rate of data transmission. Okay. So this healthcare also lot of applications are there. Now, in education, yes, apart from the simply tele education, like means teacher is asking something, teacher is saying something, you are listening and you are asking some doubts, but there is no direct doing of this laboratory experiments and all. It is not available in this, so you can improve that. And next, even this transportation sector also lot of improvements that we can expect, because this everything is going to run with the artificial intelligence. You no need to wait till you just go to the bus stop at 11 o'clock and you will wait up to 12:30, then 12:30 you will get the bus. But no, in the artificial intelligence, every second you will get the data about where the bus is. And now bus won't start until and unless there is a minimum amount of passengers at each and every bus stop. Just assume like I have started a bus from station A to station B. In between there is a station called C, and there are 10 people here, there are 5 people here. To that 15 people, should I run a bus? I'll wait and I'll inform that passengers are less, so I can't start the bus now. That means it increases the fuel efficiency. And it gives the lot of information to the commuters with respect to the timings of the transportation and all. And this type of data transmission or using this artificial intelligence to make the decision or to disseminate the decision, this will really enhance the energy efficiency. It saves time. It will reduce the wastage, and that automatically, and it happened with cars, it happened with other things. You want to go for an office today, you have started, now you want to start at 11 o'clock, but there is a huge traffic in your area. It may take 1 or 2 hours to reach that. Now by that time, what you will do, you will work from home or you will inform and you will attend for other work, and at 12:30 you will start from your home. Is it not saving the fuel? So that means this is how this artificial intelligence is going to reduce the emissions, and that is how it leads to sustainable development. And I can give another example, many examples that you can draw, suppose this conservation of nature, some illegal poachers are there, some people want to cut the forest, or some people illegally entering into that forest. Yes, that monitoring and quick decision making, that can be done, and monitoring the pollution at the polluting industries, and every time the testing of the pollution levels in water, air pollution, chemical pollution, anything that can be happened with this. And even in space technology also lot of applications are there, because huge data of transmission happen, and so that you can place some robots in the space and you can explore the universe in a much more deeper way. So this is about conservation of the nature, and as well as this pollution controlling techniques also you can do. Again, in administration, that means in governance and administration also, it is having lot of applications. Okay, you can monitor it directly, you can instruct, and you can take the decisions very quickly. So these are some of the applications. Even in city planning, in some civic services, like in various ways you can use this technology. So wherever you need a huge amount of data to take a decision, wherever artificial intelligence is involving, wherever huge data of transmission is required, wherever machinery that you are bringing, you can call it as Internet of Things. That means things are happening over an internet. So this artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, or robotics, or machine learning, these are all things having applications. These are the applications of 5G technology, because these will work perfectly, only there is a huge amount of data transmission at a faster rate with that. So these are the applications on 21st century. Now we are going in the 21st century, our entire production mode of production process is going to change. Industry 4.0, we are in that, and definitely this technology is going to help. This technology is going to help, and you may not reach to the stage whatever I am saying, but that is the final stage. But meanwhile, you can use it in any intermediary application. With that, at least you can increase the efficiency of your work, so wherever it is required, you can use it. Now you no need, like suppose if there is a company, you no need watchmen. If there are sensors and huge data transmission, then automatically the door will be open and door will be closed. Like that, many applications are there. But when you are writing the application, just mention sector wise and just write it instead of writing in a point wise. Okay. Next, once these applications are over, now what are the some sort of benefits that are the benefits that are announced by the government when this government announced for this auction? See, this spectrum is very important thing, because technological aspects and other things that are already developed by the industry. But when it comes to this spectrum, the government has announced this spectrum auction, and in this they are going to auction the 72 gigahertz. This is the volume 72 gigahertz spectrum that they are going for an auction, and with this around they are going to get 4.5 lakh crore. This is the worth, and don't think like this 4.5 lakh crore will be credited or will be government will get this entire thing in 1 year. No, this spectrum is auctioned for 20 years. The validity is 20 years. After 20 years again you need to renew it. And in this, when they are going for this auction, they mentioned like there is no spectrum usage charge. Earlier there was a spectrum usage charge were there to the spectrum. Now there is no. Earlier it was some 3 to 5% on this aggregated AGR, adjusted gross revenue you need to pay. But last year we have brought some reforms in the telecom sector. You no need to pay any charge as an SUC, but regular charges anyway you need to pay. The third important thing is, okay, this much amount they are going for 20 years and this much amount of money they are expecting. Further they say no SUC, okay, no spectrum usage charges. And another thing is, when this spectrum auction has started, the bidders, they must submit a bank guarantee, a financial guarantee. So now there is no need of financial guarantee, no need of bank guarantee. Earlier actually, when they are going for this bidding, how much amount of money they are going to pay in a particular year, that much amount of bank guarantee they must provide. Now they no need to provide any bank guarantee. That means it will ease the burden on these bidders. Next, another important aspect is there is no upfront payment. That means now you no need to pay any payment directly in the very first instant, but you have to pay in 20 equal installments in the next 20 years, because the spectrum auction is for 20 years. Spectrum auction is for 20 years. And another important thing is, the bidders will be given an option to surrender the spectrum after 10 years. After 10 years, if they think that it's not economically viable or anything, they can surrender it to the government again without any future liabilities. So these are some of the scheme of things that are announced by the government when they went for this auctioning of 5G spectrum. And in this auction, it's low frequency, medium frequency, high frequency signals are auctioned under this. Low frequency, I can say like 600 to 2300 megahertz. This is a low frequency signals. Medium frequency means 3300 megahertz. and high frequency signals is up to 26 gigahertz. Now you can understand these are used for the 5G technology, and these are used for any intermediary purpose of, because not for everything, for some purpose you need less amount of you need a spectrum of less frequency. So that is why they are allocating this and they are allocating this will be useful for core functioning of 5G technology. Yeah. Now I'll come to, you understood the advantages, you understood the technology, you understood the technical differentiation, and what government has announced also you understood. Now I'll come to this challenges, and in these challenges there are two different type of challenges are there. One is technical challenges and second one is economical challenges. So when it comes to the technical challenges, I already told it is with respect to the devices. So devices are very important. Did India is having enough capacity to produce all these devices, robots, machines who can communicate on this 5G technology? Are we depending on foreign country? Because you have already seen with Huawei company, US and UK, they have banned the Huawei because they are manufacturing the 5G related equipment. There is a chance that there is a data theft and privacy related issues are there. But anyhow, technologically India is really in a position to manufacture these devices. There are some technical problems are there, though some companies are demonstrated, though some companies are ready to use it, but still there is a problem in these devices. Next, the entire 5G ecosystem, I think we are not fully prepared for that. Even though if you launch, it will be used in specific applications, but the entire ecosystem is not so suitable to the 5G, because that ecosystem include devices, communication infrastructure, and as well as the anyway spectrum you are auctioning it. But are we in a position to ready to use that technology? Our devices are our entire the working conditions and our technological equipment and our devices, everything are they align to that system? No, there are some problems are there in this. So devices and 5G ecosystem, and the optical fiber is very important to transmit this, because you can't transmit through these lines. High data transmission is not possible through the lines, and this optical fiber is very important. So though the government of India has started a program to lay the optical fiber into all gram panchayat, it happened, it reached to some extent, but still there are some issues are there with this. And once it reaches to the gram panchayat, it can be used in gram panchayat. From gram panchayat to again to the entire village, how you are going to do it, that is again some technological problems are there. National Optical Fiber Network or BharatNet program, under that we have started this optical fiber program. But anyhow, at least we can bring it to the village level for the administrative purpose, but for the general public use purpose, that ecosystem is not developed, the technological challenges are there. So optical fiber, devices, 5G ecosystem. And when it comes to the semiconductors are required at every stage, and we are not good at in having semiconductors. Even for our automobiles and all, we are importing the semiconductors, but still the semiconductors are also another technical challenge. And the another important aspect is, once you understand this entire 5G, is it really for normal person to download something or to upload something or to call to somebody or to send a message to somebody? No, that efficiency automatically increases, but the purpose is beyond the normal regular persons or normal regular usage. It more has its own industrial usage. It more has its own usage at the higher level. But are these people are ready? Are these people are ready in using the technology? So that is another important challenge, because normally we think like you can download a movie in a second or in a few seconds, that's okay. But the point is, what about the other people and what about other systems with respect to our technical ability to use it, technical ability, or I can say technical literacy, that are we having that technical literacy is an important aspect. Okay, so these are some of the technical challenges, but I will come to economical challenges now. See, economic challenges means already this telecom sector is under tremendous pressure, because you have seen that AGR case, and after that government has given some relaxation. Last year government has announced some reforms, in that now they are feeling some sort of relaxation, but are they in a position to spend such a huge amount of money to launch these services? So their economic capacity. Second one, is it economically viable? That is very important for them. Economically viable, because even when 4G launched also the same questions arisen, but still this is not having the purpose, this is not having a full purpose with the common man, because common man cannot use it for a beyond a particular point. It must be associated with this Internet of Things and machines, then only you can harness the full potential of this 5G. Economically viable, because for the companies, because they can't launch to the everywhere, whoever using mobile, they can't get the benefit of this 5G, full benefit of 5G. Next, when it comes to this charges, when it comes to the internet charges, though the Indian charges are low compared to the world charges, but because of some oligarchy in the Indian telecommunication system, probably this lead to increase in charges. That is one more economic aspect is also there. Okay, next, the cost of spectrum. Another important thing is cost of spectrum. Already in the year 2018 they have come up with a figure for the cost of the spectrum, but now the TRAI has recommended to reduce 39% of this 2018 number, but industry demanded for reduction in 90%, but anyhow government has not reduced that. They said only 39%. Are they going to bear the burden of this the cost of spectrum? Anyway, they are not going to pay directly at a time, they are going to pay it in installment wise, but they are asking for moratorium. That means we don't pay till few years, that means 4 years or 5 years, because by that time the technology reaches to everyone, and we are going to auction at the end of July 2022, maybe in the August we can start the services, but to reach the entire country it may take 2 years or more, because it's not that easy. You need lot of infrastructure to avail these services, The another important aspect in this economic thing is this time earlier spectrum is used to allocate only to the telecom companies, because only telecom companies can use of this spectrum at that time. Now we are saying like lot of industrial application is there with the 5G. So government, what they have done is they are going to keep some spectrum aside for this non-telecom enterprises. So non-telecom enterprises are going to have some specific spectrum for their own captive use. That means they are not going to provide the SIM cards and telecommunication to public, but in an industry they have their own internal purpose. So for that purpose they can purchase the spectrum, or they can lease the spectrum from the telecom companies, and they can use it for their own purposes. So we are not making this industries to depend on telecom companies for that spectrum or for that 5G signals. So we are providing the spectrum to them, and with that spectrum they develop their own technology, 5G technology, and with this 5G technology they can run their own operation. But the company's connection with respect to the external, this communication in the hands of telecom companies, but inside the company, inside the production process, or inside the company which involved in production process, this captive, they can use the separate spectrum. And that they can directly auction it from, directly get it from the government. But to this proposal, these telecom companies are opposing. They said like, we are already under stress, and if you give, because these people are the major beneficiaries of this technology, and if you directly allocate the spectrum to them, then we are not going to get any profit, and it may be a detrimental to the interest of telecompanies that they are saying. But government is having a strong opinion, when we start this technology, when this technology is having lot of potential to change the entire or to transform the entire developmental trajectory, and it is having a capacity to contribute around $500 billion of value to the economy every year. When it is having such a potential, why we need to restrict only to the few people or few oligarchs? It should be available to everyone, and everyone should get a benefit. And meanwhile, we will keep the telecom operators interest also in mind. That is what the government of India's idea. But anyhow, government have said like there are some non-telecom enterprises are going to get a separate spectrum if they are participate in the bidding process. This is one of the economic challenge that is with respect to telecom companies. And the last and most important thing is, when we launched this 4G, when they launched 4G, we promised lot of things. When we launched the 4G, we promised lot of things, but that has not happened with all that 4G. Because in the 4G, when we said like the data transmission is 1 Gbps, 1 gigabyte per second we said. But now, are we really transmitting data with 1 gigabyte per second? Are we transmitting? No, we are not transmitting with that capacity of data. We said many things, no, you can do this, this happened, but it has not happened with that 4G. Now with this 5G, we are saying like 10 times of the data transmission of 4G. We are saying 10 gigabytes per second. This is the data transmission capacity, because when we started our journey with first generation, I can tell you like it is around some 2 to 20 kilobyte per second. This was the data transmission in the first G. Later we went up to 300, later we went up to around 50 to 60 Mbps, and later we went up to 1 Gbps, and again now we are talking about 10 gigabytes per second. But are we going to really transmit this much data? Such an infrastructure, such a facilities are there, or is it going to be like an 4G? Because lot of capacity is there, but we could not able to utilize it. Some companies who are having that sufficient infrastructure and who need that, probably they might have used it, but when it comes to the general public, that much amount of data transmission not happened. Hardly we end up with, individuals end up with 10 to 20, 10 to, sometimes it went up to 100 Mbps, but not beyond a particular point. So, but 10 Gbps, that is exactly the technology is going to provide, and that is exactly you require. But are we going to end up with the same thing what we are projecting now? That is a still challenge. But anyhow, this technology is going to have lot of applications, and it is going to revolutionize the entire industrial process. And in order to address some of the challenges, government has started some aspects. I'll just mention 3 things. They are important, and whether these are sufficient or not, but government has started some beginning. See, 5G test bed setup in 8 top technological institutions of India. So, in top 8 technological institutions, we set up a center to test this 5G technology. So, what are the challenges, what are the impediments that are coming in this 5G transmission, and what about electrical power consumption and data transmitting challenges? So, those are all the things that we are going to test. So, 8 top technological institutions, we are having some test bed centers. Second one is, we have announced already production linked incentive schemes, and under production linked incentive schemes, we have given this benefit for mobile handset manufacturers and even telecom equipment. So, this mobile handset operators and this telecom equipment, if they are make use of this scheme, that means for every incremental production they will get some sort of financial benefit, and if they are really able to switch to this 5G and if they able to produce it, it is a good thing, because already government of India is incentivizing for the producers to go for a production which is compatible with the 5G technology. And also we have launched the semiconductor mission. In technical challenges I mentioned, like semiconductor is one challenge, but we have already started semiconductor mission. To what extent it is going to give the benefits, we don't know, but yes, government of India started the semiconductor mission. These are the three things which are already started, and laying optical fiber is also started. Technical demonstration already done. We have done these aspects, but how it will work we'll see. But this 5G technology is having lot of potential, and it will have a potential to completely transform the production process. I think around 450 to 500 billion dollars worth of value that it can add to the economic system per annum. So that is the 5G, and in coming days 5G is going to be used for both development and as well as sustainable development, and even in governance practices also. So these are the different aspects related to this 5G technologies. So it include applications, government policies, challenges and the technology. Okay, thank you.
Amrita IAS Academy.